Pat McAfee is one of the most explosive personalities in sports right now. He's doing everything, from broadcasting games on ESPN, to being a part of College Game Day, to becoming a regular analyst on Get Up, appearing on WWE, and running his own podcast. McAfee is one of the main reasons why I got into YouTube and sports talk. But there have been some rumblings that Pat may be coming back to the NFL. Over the past week, Pat has been bombing absolute piss missiles off that immaculate right leg of his in his beautiful 110-yard backyard in the great state of Indiana. He's been posting videos on Twitter teasing a comeback to the NFL. McAfee retired early from football when he was still in his prime, and now is still only 32 years old, and might still have a little bit left in the tank. When Pat was active in the NFL, he was the best punter in the game, being named to a Pro Bowl twice, including his final season. Pat was a master of the coffin corner. He could blast the pigskin over 70 yards, and he has led the NFL in nearly every single major punting category at one point or another in his career. Pat is also an onside kick legend. This part isn't that important to the story because he said if he came back he wouldn't be doing kickoffs, but I wanted an excuse to include the stealth onside kick versus the Texans. But let's ramp the energy back up because Pat is also built like an absolute tank, looking more like an NFL linebacker than a punter, making him a monster tackler. This part isn't that important to the story either, I just wanted to include the Trenton Holiday hit. One of the main reasons why Pat retired in 2017 was because of a lingering knee injury. That, as you could probably imagine, would make kicking a football very painful and difficult. This isn't the first time though that Pat has teased a comeback. Before last season, he tried out as a kicker for the Chicago Bears when they were deciding between Elliott Fry and Eddie Pinheiro. God save Chicago. Pat ultimately dropped out of that tryout after his knee issues resurfaced, but things seem to be looking up a little bit more for Pat this time around. First off, he said he's feeling much better than he did a year ago, and he's in a better mental space, and his knee seems to be holding up a lot more. Pat has also mentioned 4 teams that he would potentially be interested in or that needed a punter. Those teams being Detroit, Pittsburgh, Tampa Bay, and Kansas City. The one team that I think is least feasible is the Pittsburgh Steelers. If McAfee were to make a comeback, it would either be to have fun or to ring chase. And he doesn't have any obvious direct ties to the Pittsburgh organization, and they also aren't overwhelming contenders for the Lombardi Trophy. The Lions make a little bit more sense than the Steelers, solely because of Pat's relationship with Matt Patricia. Pat has been on record supporting Patricia, saying he is a good friend, so a return to Detroit would probably be the easiest path for Pat if he wants to get back in the league. But, as we all know, Detroit, they're not contending for anything next year. McAfee has also hinted that the Tampa Bay Buccaneers would be a good location to go and ring chase. He insinuated after the Buccaneers signed Rob Gronkowski that it might not be a bad idea to follow suit and go with the GOAT and Tom Brady to try to get a chance at the Lombardi Trophy. But if a ring is the most important thing for Pat, then there is no better team than the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs. They would probably be the best choice, as the Chiefs obviously won the championship last season and look poised to be very competitive once again. These teams are of course in order of what I think Pat would value, but I'm not sure if any of these teams even want McAfee or want to move on from their current punter. So it's still very up in the air. Do I think Pat will make a comeback? I don't know yet. And I don't think Pat does either. All I know is if he does, he will instantly be the most entertaining player in the NFL. I will have a brand new jersey in my closet and a new favorite team.